Welcome to 7 Days of Rest and a Return to Essence. And today we're on day 6. Day 6 is about clarity. The quickest way to be clear, to have clarity of what our purpose is, the reason why we got up in the morning, the vibe we send off to the world, is to have a healthy gut, brain, spirit, heart. So let's start with 3 beautiful cleansing breaths. Just be aware that you're breathing in and you're breathing out. I would invite you for a moment before we begin to close your eyes as I read a poem. A movement is erupting as we go deeper and deeper still. Gaia responds. Earthworms return. Along with humble farming, authentic, natural farming. Well springs of old wisdom bubbling up again, and we bow to drink. Truth tellers speak from every direction of minimal tillage, crop diversity, and microbial-rich earth. Of a microbiome unpoisoned. And we remember that forgotten organ. Restored, we join humble hands and hearts, going deeper and broader still. Diverse webs, biogenetic peace practices. Kuan Yin speaks of compassion for all. Gardens of peace, gardens of peace. I dedicate that poem to a dear friend of mine, a biologist from the Tree of Life, John Phillips. I wrote that with him in mind when I was studying at the Tree of Life. So let's talk about clarity. I'm going to give a really simple demonstration, and then I'm going to just do a 2-minute video on making sauerkraut from Sander Katz. He is an amazing fermentist. He wrote the book Wild Fermentation and many others, and he healed advanced illness in his body from getting the clarity and the healthy microbes in his gut. This is what I also did my master's thesis on, was the microbiome and plant-based nutrition. You have been given a gift in your package of a PDF of my book, Earth Gut, The Story of Peace, Love, and Microbes. And in here I share microbial-rich diet, and a healthy microbiome helps us connect with that beautiful vagus nerve that runs from our gut like tree branches down to the roots, up into the roots of our heart and into our brain. And they know now that what goes on in the brain and our clarity and our ability for vision has a lot to do with the state of our microbiome. The other thing I really want to share with you today is iodine. Iodine is an incredible way to decalcify the pineal gland. It sits in the crypts of our intestines and our thyroid and our breast tissues, and most of our soil is really depleted of iodine. So I invite you all into a state of clarity. Also, tissue salts are super important. But the only demo I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you some of the most powerful food I use for clarity. First of all, for clarity, is beautiful structured water. We're water. So we want to keep ourselves hydrated, and almost everything we do dehydrates us. I'm just going to do a simple breakfast that I love to have. These are berries of all sorts. I got blueberries here, and they have been frozen because I'm in Canada, and so I freeze organic berries in the autumn. And then spirulina. I have some spirulina here. It's a beautiful blue-green algae, and the spirulina is mixed with chlorella. I have a friend here that has a company called TriPow, and it's a spirulina chlorella company. Spirulina is a perfect food because it feeds us lots of protein, it detoxifies our body, but it's probably the lowest carbon imprint on the planet. And it's very, very easy to cultivate, but it needs to be cultivated in a place where the water source is very clean, so it's not contaminated with radiation and other things. So here we go. I'm going to pour a liter of water into my trusty blender. And then I'm just going to mix my berries and spirulina. And then I would invite you to choose one herb that you would like to add. whatever you're feeling. So that's that beautiful color of that spirulina. The areas have floated to the bottom. This blue algae mixed with the chlorella green algae. And there's not very many foods on the planet when we're talking about rainbow food that's blue. Spirulina is just a complete protein. I've had friends who have been anemic off and on, and when they get spirulina in their diet, it just is a game changer. So today the spice I'm going to add is turmeric or turmeric. Makes me think of the song, potato, potato, tomato, tomato, maybe turmeric, turmeric. Let's bring the whole world peace. So we're eating in a way that brings peace. I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric in here for clarity. And then I'm going to turn off the volume and do the blender dance. I have the blender ready. Here we go. This is breakfast. This is my hydrating breakfast. Berries, turmeric, potato, potato, turmeric, tomato. Let's call the whole world peace. Here we go. Turn it over to Sander Katz as he does his video on making sauerkraut, just to help you understand how easy it is to make a jar of sauerkraut. Cabbage has pretty well every nutrient you need to survive, so it's an incredible food in the winter. When I teach my classes, I always teach people in the winter to always have a beautiful, nummy, rich cabbage salad in the fridge, ready to go. When I do that cabbage salad, I can quickly use the rest of the cabbage, massage it with salt, and make a jar of sauerkraut. So let your microbes be happy. Release animal eating. They support pathogenic microbes. I wish you lots of clarity. Enjoy this video, and I will see you tomorrow as we wrap up in our kinship day.
By fermentation. Here's a bowl with half of a head of cabbage. I grated some carrots. I put in half of an onion and salt it to taste. I'm just going to add a little sprinkle of caraway seeds to it. And then I'm just going to mix everything up a little bit. If you just do this for a couple of minutes, you'll find that when you pick up a little handful and you squeeze it, it'll be like a wet sponge and juice will come out. What we call sauerkraut juice is simply the juice of the vegetables themselves. These vegetables will ferment under their own juices. And then I can just evaluate it by tasting it. I'm going to add a little bit more salt. This is not rocket science. We're going to use a quart-sized jar today. You never want to fill the jar all the way. You always want to leave a little bit of room, because once this comes to life, it's going to produce carbon dioxide and everything's going to want to push up. You can see that now when I'm pressing down, the juice is rising to the top there. So that's perfect. And then we're also going to want to weight it down a little bit. And I saved one of the outer leaves of the cabbage that has this heavy spine on it. And I'm going to use that spine almost like a spring to hold the vegetables down under the brine. And put the lid on the jar loosely, and I'm going to leave that on the counter. I'm going to write today's date. Just leave it at ambient temperatures. Try to be patient. Give it 3 or 4 days, and then just start tasting it. The acids accumulate over time. So if you like a strong, assertive, acidic flavor, that will take a longer time to develop. If you prefer a milder flavor, less acidity, then you need to ferment it for less time. So thanks for having me on the show, and don't be intimidated by fermentation.